Now about Mr. Crowley. I understand he was a rather eccentric man. Suppose you tell me everything you can remember about what Josiah Crowley did and what he said, which would help us figure out where he might have secreted a later will.
Uncle Josiah was rather absent-minded. I often saw him hunting for his spectacles which he had pushed up on his head.
Did he ever hide things?
So, yes. Uncle Josiah was always putting articles away in what he called a safe place. But the places were so safe he never could find the things again.
Then, Mr. Crowley could have hidden a will, and then forgotten where.
I suppose so. While living with the Tophams, I'm sure that's just what he would have done. One day when he was calling at a house he talked about the Tophams and the way they were trying to get all his money. I guess they think, just because I stay on, that they're going to get everything. But they'll be fooled when they find I've made another will, he said with a tart little chuckle of his. This time I'm not going to trust it to any lawyer. I'll put it away in a place that I know will be safe.
Do you think Uncle Josiah hid another will somewhere in the Tophams' house?
If he did, we would have a great fight on our hands, I'm afraid, trying to persuade the Tophams to let us make a search.
So, you don't suppose the Tophams found a later will already and destroyed it?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. But if another will exists I will find it, I promise.
You're a doll, Nancy. You have no idea how much we appreciate what you're doing for us.
Signor Mascagni, would you be willing to listen to the voice of a friend of mine and give your honest opinion as to whether or not she might become a great singer? If she might, and she can obtain the money for lessons, would you be able to take her as a pupil?
You do not look like the kind of girl who would come here on a foolish errand. Ordinarily do not accept beginners. But in this case I would be willing to hear your friend sing. Mind you, I will give you nothing but the truth, and if your friend does not measure up, your feelings will not hurt too deeply.
I like honesty. As a matter of fact, this girl knows nothing about what I am asking you. Coming here will be a complete surprise to her. I'm probably no judge of voices, but I think she's a natural. However, we will both appreciate having your opinion, and will certainly abide by it.
Va bene. You may bring her tomorrow at 4 o'clock sharp.
I have a surprise for you.
Can you tell me what the surprise is yet, Nancy?
Signor Mascagni has promised to listen to your voice. If you pass the test, he'll consider taking you as a pupil. That is, after we find the money for our voice lessons.
Oh, Nancy, what are you going to do next? We've known you only 24 hours and you've already boosted our morale sky high.
Signor Mascagni, this is Grace and Allison Hoover.
Hello.
Hello.
And you are a singer. I can tell from your speaking voice. Now what would you like to sing? Please stand right facing me.
Something very simple. America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, forever waves of gray, for purple mountain majesties above the virgin plain. America, America, God shed his grace on the earth, crowned by good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet whose stern ambitions stress that they're out there of freedom reach across the wilderness. America, America, God meant thine every flaw, confirmed thy soul with self-control, thy liberty and law. So beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold shouldn't stress that they're out there full speed and reach across the wilderness. America, America.
You have a very fine range, Miss Over. I believe that someday we shall know Allison over as an operatic star? Bravissimo. Bravissimo. You sing, you cry, you smile. Magnifico. You will also be a dramatic actress splendida.
Grace and I are counting on a new will from our Uncle Josiah to be found so we can inherit his estate so we can get by better. But I know that somehow I'm going to get the money for the lessons and I wouldn't want to take them from anybody but you, Signor Mascagni. I'll come back to you just as soon as I can. Thank you very, very much.
This Allison, she's wonderful. I want to give her lessons to see that her training is correct. But I cannot afford to give the lessons there. Perhaps he could cut me price.
We'll find the money somehow, Signor.
Nancy, perhaps if you'd give your mind a little rest from the Crowley matter, an inspiration about the case might come to you.
Good idea, Dad. I think I'll take a walk in the fresh air and clear the cobwebs from my brain.
If there should be another will, I'm afraid we'd be out of luck. Well, I, for one, don't believe Josiah Crowley ever made a later will. Mother watched him like a hawk. Or thought she did. The old man got out of her clutches several times, don't forget. Yes, and what's worse, I'm sure Nancy Drew thinks he made a later will. That's why she's taking such an interest in those Hoover girls. I actually saw them go into Mr. Drew's office yesterday, and it wasn't to deliver eggs. If Nancy gets her father interested, he might dig up another will. Oh, how I hate that interfering girl. You're such a worrywart. Data, you can trust Dad and Mother to take care of things, no matter what happens. They won't let that pile of money get away from us. It's ours by right, anyhow. You've got something there. We should have old Josiah's money after supporting and putting up with him for 3 years. That was pretty clever of Mother, never accepting any board money from Josiah Crowley.
Now what? Have you solved the mystery, or is your purse in need of a little change?
Don't tease me. I need some information.
At your service, Nancy.
I was at the park and I saw the Topham sisters and I overheard them talking about how they're afraid a new will is going to be found and how they think they should get all of Josiah Crowley's money for supporting him for years without pay. There's no doubt in my mind now that if there is a later will, the Tophams haven't destroyed it. Also, the Hoover girls and the Turners aren't the only ones who should have figured in this will. There are other relatives of Mr. Crowley who have filed a claim. If I could only talk with them, I might pick up the clue.
Excellent deducting. I'm afraid, though, I can't help you obtain the relatives' names. I don't know any of them.
Oh dear. And I'm so anxious to find out right away. If I delay even a single day, the Tophams may locate the other will and destroy it. I know. I'll drive out and see the Turner sisters. They might be able to tell me who the other relatives are.
Just a minute. I wonder if you realize just what you are getting into, Nancy.
What do you mean?
Only this. Detective work isn't always the safest occupation in which to engage. I happen to know that Richard Topham is an unpleasant man when crossed. If you do find out anything which may frustrate him, the entire Topham family could make things extremely difficult for you.
I'm not afraid of them, Dad.
Good. I was hoping you would say that. I'm glad you have the courage of your convictions, but I didn't want you to march off into battle without the knowledge of what you might be up against.
Battle?
Yes. The Tophams won't give up the fortune without a bitter struggle. However, if they attempt to make serious trouble, I promise to deal with them myself.
And if I do find the will?
I'll take the matter into court.
Oh, thank you. There's no one like you in all the world.
Don't become too deeply involved in this matter, dear. In your try to help other people, you may forget to be on your guard.
I promise to be as careful as a pussycat walking up a slippery roof. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Nancy. I'm glad you came. Now I'll have somebody to play with. You're the bestest catcher I ever played with, Nancy.
Hello, Nancy. We were watching the game from the window. This is real Phil for Judy. Edna and I are very poor at catching.
I'm glad to see you all again. Have the police located the thief who took the silver heirlooms?
Not yet. And what's worse, we found that several other pieces have been taken too.
What a shame. But I'm sure the stolen articles will be found. I came here on a particular mission.
Yes?
Your story about Mr. Josiah Crowley intrigued me. Then, the other day, I met two girls, Grace and Allison Hoover, who told me of a similar promise from him regarding his will.
How amazing. I heard Josiah mention the Hoovers and Allison's beautiful voice.
That and I have become very much interested in the case and are inclined to agree with you and the Hoovers that Mr. Crowley may have written another will shortly before his death and hidden it someplace.
Oh, wouldn't it be wonderful if such a will could be found? It might mean all the difference in the world to Judy's future.
What I want to do is talk to as many of Mr. Crowley's relatives as I can find. Someplace I may pick up the clue to where a more recent will is hidden. Tell me, do any of his other relatives live around here?
Yes. 3 that I can think of. 2 cousins, who never married, live on a farm just outside Titusville. Their names are Fred and William Matthews. Many years ago Fred proposed to Mary, and William to me, and we came near accepting. But just at that time we had the great tragedy in the family and took Judy's mother to rear, so we decided not to marry.
What relation are the Matthews to Mr. Crowley?
First cousins on his mother's side.
Do you think they would mind my asking them some questions, even though I'm a stranger?
Not at all. They're very fine gentlemen.
And tell them Mary and I sent you.
How far is Titusville from here?
Oh, not more than 5 miles on Route 108. You could drive there in a few minutes. It's on the way to Masonville.
All right. And thank you very much.
Oh, Mary, we forgot to tell Nancy about Josiah's wife's cousin, Mrs. Abby Rowan. She'd be apt to know more about the will than anyone else.
That's right. You really should call on her, Nancy. She took care of Josiah one time when he was sick, and he thought the world of her. He often declared he intended to leave her something. She's a widow and has very little.
Even a few $1,000s would mean a lot to her. Abby must be over 80 years of age, and growing forgetful. She has no children and there's no one to look after her.
Where shall I find Mrs. Rowan?
Abby lives on the West Lake Road. It's a good many miles from here.
Then I shan't have time to go there today, but I'll surely see her as soon as I can. And now I must be going.